Hi, and welcome to our presentation on Neutrogena. Neutrogena began its success in 1930 when the founders started a small specialty cosmetic store called Natone. In 1954, they adopted a soap that left no residue and named it Neutrogena. By 1962, Neutrogena was so synonymous with the company image that the company officially changed its name to Neutrogena. In 1967, Neutrogena began to promote the benefits of their soap to the medical professional, and this paved the way to build a strong tie between Neutrogena and dermatologists, which allowed the company an unrivaled competitive advantage over others. And then finally, in 1994, Neutrogena was acquired by Johnson & Johnson, or J&J. So you will see throughout the presentation that we also refer to Johnson & Johnson. The segment that Neutrogena competes in is considered skincare. Its parent company, Johnson & Johnson, led skincare in 2015 with a 10% value share, up from the previous year. Neutrogena, the largest mass skincare brand, had a strong year in 2015. It outpaced overall skincare with a 4% value sales increase. Its main competitor is a sister company under J&J, Aveeno, which maintained a 3% value share in 2015. Skincare is expected to record a value of CAGR of 2% at constant 2015 prices over the forecasted period. This will be a marginally stronger performance than that of the review period. Several mass skincare categories are set to register a slight decline over the forecast period due to their relative maturity as well as increased competition from premium skincare. However, facial care categories are expected to post positive value growth to 2020.
Question 2 asks for Neutrogena's major competitors and list each of their strengths and weaknesses. So first I went to Neutrogena's SWOT analysis and I found Neutrogena's major competitors. The first is Himalayan Natural and the other is Patanjali Medicines. So from there I researched each of those companies' SWOT analysis and I found each one's strengths and weaknesses, which I have put here as Himalayan Natural. Their strengths, one of their strengths is name recognition in over 90 countries. They have a strong financial backup and are great at targeting the urban and rural markets. Their weaknesses are high prices, which make it unaffordable for some people in the rural areas. Huge companies like Colgate and Pepsodent are already established in the marketplace. As for Patanjali Medicines, their strengths are extensive distribution networks spread across very populated India, one of the lowest operational costs of any major competitor, including Neutrogena. Their weaknesses, they do well in India, but they haven't yet to establish themselves globally. To do that, they need to have more strategy. They have to research more strategy. And then their last weakness that I found was they have weak export levels due to other countries' international policies.
Hello, now I am going to talk about the senior leadership within the Johnson & Johnson company. The first one is Alex Gorsky. He is the chairman and the chief executive officer of Johnson & Johnson. Dominic Caruso. He is the executive vice president and the chief financial officer of Johnson & Johnson. Peter Vassalo. He is the executive vice president, chief human resources officer. George Mesquita. He's the executive vice president of Johnson & Johnson and the worldwide chairman. Sandra Peterson. She is the executive vice president and the group worldwide chairman for Johnson & Johnson. And Michael Sneed. He's the worldwide vice president, global corporate affairs, and a member of the corporation's management committee. The board of directors is Alex Gorsky, Mary Beckery, D. Scott Davis, Ian Davis, Susan Lindquist, Mark McClellan, Ann Mulche, William Perez, Charles Prince, Eugene Washington, and Ronald Williams. The CEO of the company is Alex Gorsky. He is the 7th person to serve as chairman and CEO of Johnson & Johnson since it became a publicly traded company in 1944. He began his career as a sales representative with Janssen Pharmaceutical Company in 1988. In 2001, he was appointed president of Janssen, and in 2003, he was named the company group chairman of Johnson & Johnson's pharmaceuticals business in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. He left Johnson & Johnson in 2004 to join the Novartis Pharmaceuticals Corporation, where he served as head of the company's pharmaceuticals business in North America. He returned to Johnson & Johnson in 2008 as the company group chairman for Ethicon Incorporation. In 2009, he was appointed worldwide chairman of the medical devices segment. In January of 2011, he was named vice chairman of Johnson & Johnson's executive committee. He became the chief executive officer in April of 2012 and chairman of the board in December of 2013. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree from the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, New York, and spent 6 years in the U.S. Army, finishing his military career with the rank of captain. He earned a Master of Business Administration degree from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania in 1996.
All right, hi everyone. I'm Kenny Carnes, and I'm going to go over this slide that examines the external challenges that Neutrogena is faced with. To examine these challenges, we conducted a pest analysis and we looked at Porter's 5 forces as they relate to Neutrogena. So we'll start here with the pest analysis and the political environment. The political environment which Neutrogena is operating in is different in different areas because they operate globally. So monitoring the political environment in each region is critical. Things like healthcare reform in those areas or tax policies in certain countries can have significant impacts on Neutrogena. The economic environment in which Neutrogena operates also varies depending on the region that they're operating in. So they need to be aware of the local economies in which they're operating and make decisions based on where they think those economies are going. So they can formulate their strategies based on that data. Social environment. Social trends have a major influence on the sales of Neutrogena products. Mainly, they market to women and beauty supplies. So they take advantage of partnerships with celebrities that help influence the social environment, create better opportunities for Neutrogena. One of the celebrities that they partner with is actress Jennifer Garner. Just as a note, the technological environment that they operate in. Johnson & Johnson is in a very good position there because they stay competitive by investing in technologies and they continue research and development for new products that they can bring to the market. All right, on this slide, we're going to discuss Porter's 5 forces and how they relate to Neutrogena. Those 5 forces are potential entrants into the market, potential substitute products, the bargaining power that both suppliers and buyers have, and industry competition. So starting with the potential entrance into the market and the threat level. That threat level is low to medium because of the head start that Neutrogena had, mainly because of the patent that they received in 1954. That gave them a lot of time to cement themselves in the market and really get ahead of the competition as far as manufacturing and sales and everything goes there. So substitutes, as far as the potential substitutes, the threat of substitutes is pretty high because some of their products are no longer patent protected and can be replicated or reverse engineered. So there's a lot of other products out there that are competing with Neutrogena. So Neutrogena has to continue developing new products. As far as supplier bargaining power, there's not really a threat there because the ingredients that are used can be pretty easily obtained, so it's not really a concern. Buyer bargaining power, on the other hand, though, is a concern because buyers can choose to go to those other products that the competition is selling, which would put pressure on Neutrogena to lower their prices. So Neutrogena does a very good job at positioning itself in the market and pricing to where it is competitive. Industry competition. Neutrogena is positioned well. Like I said, it's a very highly competitive industry, and the threat from the competition is high. So Neutrogena needs to keep investing and use its resources and its capital to continue setting itself apart from the competition.
Here is the current stock performance for J&J. As you can see, J&J has a track record of growth. Here is J&J's stock price compared to some of its main competitors, such as Pfizer, Merck, etc. J&J has had a better year than its peers, that's for sure. As you can see from the previous two slides, currently J&J's stock price is at a 52-week high after reporting strong Q2 results. Shares continue to increase as Caruso, the CFO, discusses possible mergers. J&J has excellent long-term growth potential and has a larger market cap than its main competitors, but slightly lower beta, meaning it's less risky than others in the pharma industry.
Neutrogena historically has been an unrivaled marketing force in its industry. It has proven itself very savvy and adept at executing market strategies, making plans, conducting research in creative ways, and deftly navigating pricing decisions. Its core strategies have served it well over the years, choosing to focus on distribution channels like drugstores, luxury hotels, and dermatologist offices. It created a niche market and even a prestige status, allowing it to charge higher prices. The status it created for itself also protected the company from price competition. An early patent in 1954 for their flagship glycerin soap allowed it decades to set up and increase effective barriers to entry for other competitors. Neutrogena also set some basic objectives that it followed throughout its history. It kept credibility high and marketing costs low. It remained debt-free for a significant part of its existence, particularly between 1975 and 1980, which was a trying time in the industry for some of its competitors. The company held steadfast to its core marketing strategies while still being flexible enough to make adjustments as the situation necessitated. Research was a part of the marketing strategy. They reached out to teens in the 70s in a dual market research and promotional campaign, soliciting product performance evaluation of free samples. Neutrogena created several product lines, but targeted new segments for its existing products like baby boomers. Their non-drying soap formula was a perfect match for aging skin while still being marketed to teens as acne clearing. Ultimately, we must ask the question, are Neutrogena's competitive advantages sustainable? The company's adherence to sound marketing strategies and objectives throughout its history allowed it to thrive and grow nearly every year of its existence. If it stumbled, it revisited the attempted strategy or products and made adjustments accordingly. The product placed value on market research and even courted teens for product evaluation and improvement suggestions. The strong management and laser focus on objectives made the company such a fierce competitor with a wide and deep skincare product mix that Johnson & Johnson made a successful acquisition bid. Johnson & Johnson opened up the world market for Neutrogena to a level of success that it had never fully achieved on its own. The competitive advantages are sustainable, but the challenges will be new and different going forward. As long as the culture of reevaluating and adjusting where necessary continues for Neutrogena, it will continue to be successful.
Thank you for watching our presentation brought to you by Kenneth, Thomas, Chad, Jason, Carmela, and Jessica.